everyone. Today I selected my classes. Well, actually, it wasn't today. It was a few days ago. It was kind of warm and cloudy. I like cloudy days more than sunny days. I'm a cloudy kind of person. Type of person, at least. But I selected my classes. So, oh yes, I will gladly take that. I selected my classes and, well, I haven't registered for them because, you go to your advising and you go to your enrollment appointment and then you select your classes yourself, and your advisor pretty much helps you figure out what classes you should select, but overall it's up to you what classes you want to select, right? Like, if that makes sense. So you talk to your advisor and then you register for classes. For those that are not in college yet, watch my channel. So the classes that I think that I'm going to take are Computer Science 2, Calculus 3, because I'm almost done with calculus. A history course, and I think, which covers my diversity credit. I know, woke bullshit, right? Maybe a speech course, I think, and then something about a business class, like a business kind of statistical class. That'll be really easy, easy A, that I'm also going to take. And, the problem is with my college is it's kind of, it has a lot of gen ed credits. In general, it has a lot of gen ed credits. And the good news is that gen eds are easy A's, right? They're mostly useless, easy, boring classes. So they could go on your transcript, and, well, assuming your employer doesn't directly look at your transcript, they can really raise your GPA quite a bit. So when you're at an interview and they ask you, "What's your GPA?" you can answer, "Oh, I got like 3.3," and half of the classes in my college are basically gen ed courses. Which is kind of a scam, to be honest, but to be fair, there's more courses because each one is 3 hours instead of like 4 or 5 hours at other colleges. So there's more room for classes. There's probably like 3 or 4, if you do the math, additional classes where they can basically provide you, because each class is only 3 credit hours. So you take a lot of classes in general. So yeah, basically, that is the thing. So, honestly, if you want to know the truth, I'm very surprised that I got this far. I used to be a struggling pre-algebra student, and I used to kind of struggle with math when I was, in 5th, 6th grade. And I never thought that I would make it to calculus. Especially, I remember I was in Virginia and I had a bad math grade. And I just remember thinking to myself, man, I'm never going to be able to get into college because I have a D in this Algebra 2 class. And, well, they ended up giving me a B because everyone kind of failed it. And look at me now, right? I may not have done a lot of Algebra 2, but I didn't really need it at the end of the day. Like, I caught up, I got all of the algebraic concepts, I pretty much mastered algebra, and now I'm just kind of, I'm good, basically. So, yeah, I'm good when it comes to mastering algebraic concepts, and even though I did poor on my algebra class, because at the end of the day, there was like 3/4 of the test I had blank. Like 3/4 of the test, on the tests that I was given, I left it blank in Algebra 2 because I had no idea. And, you know, I mean, I did wonderful in Algebra 1. In fact, I was so bored with the class because I got over a 100 grade in Algebra 1, right? And geometry, I was in honors geometry, and I got a high B in that. So, you know, like, first of all, at the time, I really didn't understand why I was failing Algebra 2, basically. But it caused a lot of stress, and I think it led to a lot of my mental health problems. But regardless, it just kind of shows you that if you're struggling in a class, you could definitely recover from it. I mean, look at me, right? I struggled in Algebra 2, and now I'm in Calculus 2. I might not have the best grade. I got a C. But I'm doing exceptionally well in my other classes, like computer science and statistics, kind of these mathematical quantitative thought classes. And I didn't get a high grade in Algebra 2, right? You should obviously try your hardest, but it's not the end of the world if you don't do good. Now, what I will say that is a very bad consequence is that if you have a D in Algebra 2, in college, you might get placed in college algebra, or even worse than that, like elementary algebra, or even DMAT, which is like math for critical thinking, which is very low. It's like the lowest math classes there are, right? So that's the issue, is that you have to do well in these classes, or else you might get placed in a math class that is very low. But it's not the end of the world if you, if this happens to you, right? If you get a bad grade in a math class, what you can do is you can, I mean, sometimes they'll offer math placement exams. And what you can actually do is you could go in, you can go on an online course, say during the summer. You can take an online course in algebra, and if you master the concepts, you might be able to skip a class, a whole semester class, by learning a few months of algebra from an online class. And it'll cost you a lot less in terms of money and possibly time. If you take an algebra class online because you have poor algebraic concepts, like you don't know algebraic concepts that well, you could save a lot of time, you could save money, and you might be placed in a higher class as a result, right? And it's not like you'll lack the skills just because you don't need a college course to master something. And that goes even as far as computer science. It goes as far as the hardest subjects that you possibly can think of. Anybody can master these concepts outside of college pretty much, right? If you have enough material, you can basically learn whatever you want outside of college, right? People know coding. A lot of employers don't even require you, and these are not fluff jobs. These are like hard STEM jobs. A lot of employers don't even require a college degree anymore. Some other employers require a master's or PhD and have gotten a lot more strict with their requirements because there's so many people majoring in STEM. But there's other employers that really just don't give a shit. So it is kind of strange how the job market is working out right now. I know because I commonly look at the job market, but in reality, there are employers out there that just care if you've mastered a skill that is respectable and that is appropriate for the job, right? And that doesn't always mean going to college. You don't have to go to college even to get a data science degree in some cases. Now, it is extremely advantageous to, but it basically adds to my point that you don't need a college course to learn algebra and learn pre-calculus. And if you take a summer course online, if you get off your lazy ass in the summer and you take one of these online math courses like Brilliant.org, not a sponsor. I have 6 viewers on my channel, so obviously not a sponsor. Then you can definitely save a lot of time and money. So that's all. I know I repeated myself for the past 4 minutes, but that's all I wanted to state. No, I'm not doing what you think I'm doing. I know I have a giant plane. We are not doing that. Okay, anyways, what was I gonna say? I was gonna say next I have an announcement, which is that I am working at a summer camp this summer with kids. Now, I might not be the most mentally stable person in the world, but I'm actually pretty great with kids in general. Like, I know how to act around them and all. So I'm looking forward to it. I've always kind of liked younger peers. Like, I have friends that are like 1 to 2 years younger than me, and I kind of get along with them better than my older peers, and I think it's because of some of my neurological disorders, or even like 3 years younger than me. I think actually when I was diagnosed with autism, the doctors actually say that I prefer younger peers over older peers. And that is really true. And I really don't like most. I also like people that are older age. Like, when it comes to college, I can't stand freshmen. Like, college freshmen are the most annoying people in the world. They're basically like these woke, Uber Eats, fucking lazy, fucking pieces of shit. I fucking hate Gen Zers. College freshmen, Gen Zers. They are so outrageously annoying, and all they care about is Snapchat and clout. They're not really different from high school, right? This is the thing, is that college, I want that plane. Damn it. That's the thing, is that, like, college, first year college, all these, like, high school kids that care about popular trends and Snapchat and all this bullshit are still around, right? Doing first year computer science and all that. And they eventually drop out, and the people that are kind of left in computer science were those nerdy kids that were kind of social loners, because those are the brilliant people. I just can't stand college freshmen because they have massive egos, and they have they're just like high school. They're just like high school peers, and I never really got along with them. It turns out that I was actually really popular with my high school peers, because I had impulse control problems and I had psychological issues. Now that sounds absolutely insane, but when you think about some of the hypomanic episodes and impulse control problems that I have, people found that to be funny. And to be honest, while that might sound insulting, it actually gained me a lot of attention. And I don't care for attention or clout, and I never use social media, but I actually made some really good friends my senior year, because the rest of my schooling years, I never really had any friends. I was a social loner. So it was really nice that kind of my actual problems led to people thinking that I was really cool because I was different, and I had problems. Of course, in college, I was a social loner, right? That never changed, right? I'm still kind of a social loner. I really don't have any college freshman friends, right? I know some TAs. I have a tutor that kind of helps me a bit. And, I don't really have any freshman level friends first or second semester of college. I just don't really like freshmen. When I tried getting along with freshmen at my old college, I really learned that they were just annoying pieces of shit, really. So, yeah, that's the thing. Anyways, back to my summer camp story, right? Because I know I go off track. I am going to be working a job this summer, and I'm not going to say where. Could be out of state, could be in state. I'm going to give you that um, suspense, right? I'm not going to tell you where I'm not going to give you any hints as to where I'm located until afterwards. So I'm going to be working at a summer camp for a couple of summers. And it's going to, or I'm sorry, not a couple summers, for a couple weeks. I'm going to be working for 5 weeks with the kids, like Boy Scouts. This is a Boy Scout camp. It's like a beautiful Boy Scout camp. It's got like hundreds of acres of forests, and it's not like your little summer camp daycare center, right? Like it's a big summer camp. It's a big thing with like a lot of swimming pools and archery and all this, right? And I'm gonna be working at the kind of the nature portion, the kind of environmental nature. I know I'm a hippie leftist now. Not really. I'm still a right winger, but it does sound like a hippie leftist thing, doesn't it? I'm gonna be working this summer at one of these camps in the nature area, and I'm gonna be teaching these kids about nature-related things, I guess. And I'm going to earn $1,600 by the end of this, and with an earned income tax credit, I'll probably get, $2,600 out of this whole thing. So that would be really nice, I guess. Now, keep in mind, I don't really know if I'm in favor of leftist earned income tax credits, because it generally just raises prices for everything, you know? So, like, it really doesn't matter whether I get $2,600, because if we didn't have earned income tax credits and all these things that caused inflation to rise, I'd probably get the same value for $1,600, or yeah, that I would have earned. You see what I'm saying? Like, just because I'm earning money off this earned income tax credit doesn't mean I necessarily agree with it. Because again, the more that the more money that you quote unquote give lower income people, the more the inflation is going to rise and the prices are going to rise. The more that workers' benefits are going to be slashed, the more that corporate stocks are going to fall, and the more that the people's quality of life will generally be affected. This is why I don't like overregulation. I don't like earned income tax credits. I don't like excessive welfare. I certainly don't like a universal basic income. I don't like any of these leftist policies because they generally just cause more harm than good, basically. I'm sure there are times where government needed programs and things like that are needed. Um, but in general, I am not a big fan of leftist big government welfare and programs. I'm a right winger. Right wing schizophrenic. Right wing schizo. Uh, yeah, that's me. So, anyways, back to my story. I'm going to earn $1,600. It's going to be really hot because I'm going to be working in June and July in the summer camp. And I'm going to be working from 6 a.m. to past dusk. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to be working a lot of hours. And I'm going to be sleeping outdoors for 7 weeks, right? 5 weeks with the kids, 2 weeks setting up camp. And the reason why I'm looking forward to this, because I know I've said before that, well, these kinds of jobs are pretty much useless. I mean, they can go on your resume, and they are. For me, this job isn't going to gain me much. I can put it on my resume for the commitment that I've done with helping these kids, but it's not related to data science or any of that, right? So it's kind of useless, right? But I'm doing it because it's, first of all, in the summer, if I don't have anything to do, I get very depressed or manic, and then depressed. I usually have, you guys know this as well as I do, that in winter and summer breaks, I have manic and depressive issues when I'm not in school and I'm not busy, and when I'm intellectually understimulated. And it can also lead to a lot of other emotional problems that aren't necessarily episodes. So, first of all, I'm doing this for my own good. But secondly, I'm really testing to see whether my lifestyle post-work is good. Because if you remember, I want to camp for months. Right now, I'm going to be sleeping in a cabin, not a tent. I kind of wish I was sleeping in a tent because I would like to see what it's like in a tent for... I guess it'd be too hot, but I would like to sleep in a tent rather than a cabin. I'll have my own cabin. But it's really to see whether my lifestyle is something that I want. Alright, I'm going to be living basically in a forest for 7 weeks. 6, 7 weeks. I don't know why this has guns on it. Here, let's see if we can shoot down this plane real quick. Come on. Come on. Are we hitting it? I don't understand. We're not hitting it. We're not hitting the plane. Why aren't we hitting the plane? I literally have no idea why we're not hitting the plane. We should be hitting the plane right now. There we go. I'm hitting the plane now. Come on. Die. Die. Come on. Frickin' die. Oh, the engines are smoking, aren't they? Oh, it's about to crash. It's about to crash. Oh, that's too bad. Anyways, I guess that's all basically that I have today. Basically, what you got to take away from this is I chose my classes, and I'm very surprised that I've gotten this far in my college studies, especially struggling as bad as I do. And I'm glad to be getting out for 7 weeks during the summer to, work with kids and hopefully try to make them into young men, like try to transition them into adults, because that's what Boy Scouts is about. And I'm glad to be living in a forest for 7 weeks, although it's going to be hell hot. So, that's all. Thank you. Goodbye.